Hi, I'm Everley Davis, the presenting curator for Joyful Resistance, but also the director of community engagement and the assistant curator for the Peoria Riverfront Museum. Welcome to Joyful Resistance. Joyful Resistance is the largest assemblage of Black art the museum has ever displayed. It's also the first of the exhibitions the Peoria Riverfront Museum is presenting in 2026 to recognize the 250th anniversary of the United States declaring independence. What a poignant way to start the conversation contemplating the history of freedom, liberty, and rights in this land, who has access to it, and the diverse walks of life that have contributed to the definition of America. This collection of works by Black artists demonstrates the tenacious creativity exercised under constraint and the freedom to express a response to restriction in a myriad of ways. Joy is not a denial of pain, but a radical act of cultivating happiness in spite of trauma or oppression. To be joyful is an act of resistance. For Black Americans especially, it is a refusal to be solely characterized by suffering. This exhibition has been generously sponsored by Art Bridges Foundation, Ron and Carrie Gibbons and family, Darlene Violet, Charlene Munns, the America 250 donors, Visionary Society, Illinois Arts Council, and of course, support from our friends of Bronzeville to Harlem. This section, which could be the first or the last section as you enter Joyful Resistance, there is no right or wrong way of navigating it, choose your own adventure. But this green section is really dedicated to visibility. So the work that's behind me is large and in charge, hard to miss, and it's by the artist Philandus Thames. This work was created specifically for this exhibition. And in talking with the artist, he listened to hours of music, trying to find a song that felt right, something that was universal. And the song that was selected was This Little Light of Mine, as you can see sampled behind me. And this song was more of a spiritual balm used within the Black church, which is very foundational to the Black community and the Black experience. But it also went through a revolutionary phase where it was used and reclaimed as an anthem through the 1960s civil rights movement. And so allowing your light to be out in the world and let your true self shine and equality is something that this piece really speaks to. And it's paired here with Frederick Douglass portraits, who was the most photographed American of the 19th century. And he gave several lectures through the 1860s about Black Americans being able to reclaim their identity and the way that they are presented in the world. When photography became commercialized through the daguerreotype, you can see a couple of his from 1879 on display in this space. He encouraged everyone to make sure that your photo was taken in a dignified way to fight against the stereotypes of the time that were so pervasive. Behind me is a story quilt on loan to us through Alice Walton's Art Bridges Foundation, and it's done by the artist Faith Ringgold, who unfortunately passed in 2024, but her artwork and her legacy lives on for generations to come. In this quilt, you'll see her depiction of her beloved Harlem, New York neighborhood. It's titled Subway Graffiti No. 2, and so you'll see this tapestry of so many walks of life included in this quilt, which rhymes so harmoniously with Preston Jackson's Bronzeville to Harlem, An American Story, which is the bronze installation that you walk through before getting into Joyful Resistance. And Faith, as an artist, as a powerful woman within the Black arts movement, protested museums like MoMA and the Whitney in order to have Black women's art on display and regarded not as craft, but as fine art. And so it's the work that Ringgold has done that has helped make space for other quilters like the Gee's Bend quilters. We have a couple of Gee's Bend quilts on display thanks to a generous loan from Clark Atlanta University Art Museum. And you can see the beautiful hand quilting inside of this quilt. You have raw cotton that still has the seeds in it, a very close to home way of creating. And now museums are seeking after these scrap quilts that are made in their very unique beauty. And so thanks to women like the Gee's Bend quilters and Faith Ringgold, there is space for Black women artists to be highly regarded. And then across from me, there's a cape that is worn by Alelia Walker. And that is on loan to us through her namesake, Alelia Bundles, her great granddaughter. And so This cape, along with a couple of other fashion items owned by Miss Walker, are on display and is a testament to the safe space that she created throughout the Harlem Renaissance. But in this space, we are really taking time to honor the safe space for Black individuals, queer individuals to gather, to share ideas, and to communicate what it means to be Black and to be proud within the United States in a space that she created, the Dark Tower, at a time where Black people were shut out of public entertainment venues, which is also depicted in Jacob Lawrence's Card Players on loan to us through Seth Kaller. So we've stepped into a continuing of Joyful Resistance in this smaller side gallery that's blue. And this space was really carved out to have a very intimate room to contemplate the reasons and the systems that have inspired resistance from the Black community. So behind me is Rashid Johnson's Escape collage, again on loan to us through Art Bridges. And you can tell by the fragmented nature and kind of frenetic energy that's being conveyed throughout this work that it's hard to distill down one singular identity as a Black individual who has ownership of African symbolism and that tradition, even though it is a part of our heritage. And it talks to the legacy of the transatlantic slave trade, and what does it mean to create your own community, your own culture here in this new world? And then there's other works in here as well. We have another one of Philandus Thames's works on loan to us through Suzanne McFadden. And this work samples a Richard Pryor quote. And I wanted to include this piece because it shows how expertly Richard was able to communicate really hard truths to a diverse audience, where at first you're gonna laugh because it's a punchline, but there's more meat there to chew on after you've heard the joke. So I hope people really take to this space to sit and think about what is the legacy over 250 years of the American experience? What is the Black community still dealing with? This space is dedicated to all of the women and just writers that have contributed to trying to express the Black experience. So in this photograph, Sister Love by Jim Alexander, there are all kinds of women that were influential through the Black arts movement and continuing to write today. Some of the giants like Nikki Giovanni, Gwendolyn Brooks, Mari Evans that are included in this photo. But this moment, this candid moment that was captured outside of Spelman College is so beautiful. This sisterhood forged through their literary bond is beautiful. And then this historic bridge that's being built with the work that's next to it, Phyllis Wheatley's 1773 first edition signed copy of her book. Phyllis was the first person of African descent to publish a work here in what is now the United States, but this even predates our 1776 anniversary that we're celebrating. So these works, just to be able to see where things started and how far they've come, this is a beautiful moment. You've probably noticed all of these bright, vibrant colors behind me on all of these walls, and that inspiration was taken from the Afro-Cobra movement and their Kool-Aid color palette. So this work on loan to us from Kavi Gupta Gallery in Chicago, it's by Wadsworth Gerald, and it's just titled Revolutionary, and it features Angela Davis here as a nod to not only the Black Panther movement, but just civil rights in general. You see that this work is composed of lots of words. She's dressed in a quote in her own words in the pink jacket, but there are all of these other empowering, uplifting, and affirmative phrases and words that are around her. Resist, Black, beautiful, all of these things that I hope you feel as you walk through Joyful Resistance. Thanks for joining me on this walkthrough of Joyful Resistance, but this is just the first iteration. Throughout 2026, as we celebrate America's 250th anniversary, more pieces will be added, and this exhibition will be up through January 3rd of 2027, so please come back and check to see what's been added to our walls.